Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Today's song, it might hurt just a little. That's because this killer track is like a kick in the teeth. It's as hard as nails, so ferocious you have to crank it up whenever you hear it. And then you have to crank it up some more. But this high-octane assault on the years almost didn't make it. Sat on the shelf for a year. The band couldn't think of any lyrics. Turns out they were a little distracted. Their studio had a skate ramp and a basketball court, and they were always just messing around. Finally, 2 weeks before their deadline, their producer got so frustrated, so pissed, he begged them to finish just one song. He got into it with them. So in a moment of smart-ass inspiration, one band member spit out a verse about how this producer was stifling their creativity by making them work. Turns out, that was all they needed to turn what was supposed to be an instrumental track into an iconic hit. Plus, there's a hilarious music video to talk about as well. That's a whole other story. We're going to break it all down for you next on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. I'm telling you, if you remember the Bloodhound Gang from 321 Contact and then later the band, you're gonna dig this channel of deep musical nostalgia. Make sure to subscribe below right now, click the big red button. Also click the bell so you always know when our latest and greatest are coming in. Also check us out on Patreon for even more content that helps us to keep it a daily channel. Man, oh man, we got a great story for you today on a song that's like a hard kick to the teeth. It is so bad, it definitely lives up to its title and then some. From a group that really nobody can deny. You asked for more from these guys, so here goes. First, let's put the song and the group in their musical timeline. So 1994 was an eventful year in music. One of the last great years of the rock era before the mainstream, became saddled with boy bands and teeny boppers and such. It was a big year for rock, particularly alternative rock, continuing to blow up the mainstream there. Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies EP, that debuted on the Billboard 200 at #1, becoming the first EP to ever do that. Green Day released their US Diamond breakthrough album Dookie, kicking off the mid-90s punk revival. Nine Inch Nails released a Downward Spiral, selling over 3 million copies and pushing the industrial rock into the limelight. And The Offspring's Smash became the best-selling independent album of all time. But the breakthrough albums, they didn't stop there. There was also, Soundgarden's Super Unknown, STP's Purple, Nirvana's MTV Unplugged in New York, and then the Cranberries dropped No Need to Argue, REM had Monster, and there were top-tier offerings from Oasis, Bush, Tori Amos, Beck, Veruca Salt, on and on and on and on.
Black hole sun, won't you come?
Though not strictly tied to the wide-ranging genre, another band that connected to the 90s alternative scene in their very own way was the Beastie Boys. Indisputably, this trio had a unique sound and a style that was all their own. Dropping their triple platinum fourth studio album on May 23rd, 1994, Ill Communication is a landmark moment for that era for sure. And thanks to one key track in particular, today's featured song, it's a barn burner. Sabotage. The Beastie Boys, of course, comprise of Adam Horovitz, aka Ad-Rock, Adam Yauch, aka MCA, and Mike Diamond, otherwise known as Mike D. We covered the trio's origins in a previous episode on You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party.
You gotta fight for your right!
So we'll just cut to the chase here. After 1986's License to Ill, 1989 saw the release of the Beastie's second album, Paul's Boutique, and then Check Your Head in 92. All three would certify multi-platinum here in the United States. Now, coming off Check Your Head and leading into Ill Communication, the B-Boys spent a lot of time touring and really, worked on honing their instrumental skills. Said Mike D about it, and I quote, "By the end of that cycle of touring, we'd grown comfortable with the musical language we developed together, and we wanted to keep that going." End of quote. The Beastie Boys, they were feeling really confident in their abilities and Ill Communication was designed to complement what they accomplished on Check Your Head. As MCA said in the Skills to Pay the Bills, on Ill Communication, we just expanded on what we did on Check Your Head, more perfecting those styles, like we could play hardcore tighter than that with the instrumental stuff too. We felt like we'd advanced during touring. End of quote. So instead of taking an extended break after that particular tour, the Beastie Boys decided they needed to start recording again. Hitting the ground running in the fall of '93, the guys booked a couple of months at a rundown studio called Tin Pan Alley. And then later they migrated to G-Sun Studios in Atwater Village in Los Angeles. Now, unlike previous studio ventures, this time the boys more or less knew really what they wanted to do. And the record started off quickly with their longtime recording engineer, Mario Caldado Jr., working as co-producer. Check Your Head had been an eclectic album made up of live jams and cool funk and soul samples, and Ill Communication was going to continue that approach. The band's method was to start out just jamming, just improvising ideas and playing around with some stuff. Mario would record them as they went, mixing on the fly and adding effects as it came. They'd sample some of the things they played and begin assembling songs based on what they'd come up with at that point. When finished, Ill Communication, it was an eclectic mix of funk, hardcore, and hip-hop. Released on May 23rd, 1994, actually not long after Kurt Cobain's death, it was a much-needed antidote and fun diversion during a very dark time. Cross-genre hit, Ill Communication debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, and it peaked at number 2 in the R&B hip-hop albums chart as well. The 20-song collection that spawned 4 hit singles, Get It Together, Sure Shot, Root Down, and of course, Sabotage.
Gotta get it together and see what's happening. Get it together. And you don't stop. Oh, when you can. And you don't stop. I get it root down. I put my root down. I get it root down. I put my root down.
So, Sabotage. Oh man, this is undoubtedly a defining track in the Beastie Boys catalog, my favorite track they ever did. A rock track built on looped riffs. It features some over-the-top lead vocals by Ad Rock, definitely, heavily distorted bass, turntable scratches, power guitar, and a whole lot of serious attitude. This song, it wreaks havoc on the ears, and that's a good thing. This song, it's just killer. The origins of Sabotage actually go back to one of the Beastie Boys' many funk jam sessions at Tin Pan Alley. Said Mike D about it, and I quote, "One day early in the process, we were about to start working, and Yauk starts playing this incredible bass line on his vintage Fender jazz bass. I remember it vividly because I immediately asked him, what song is that from? It sounded so good that I felt like it must already be somebody else's song. Turned out it wasn't. He just come up with it right there. Now from there, Mike started playing drums, this double beat break thing that he came up with. The guys would write the rest of the music in just a matter of hours. By the next day, this punch-in-the-teeth instrumental, it was totally finished. The guys initially gave the track the working title Chris Rock. Now, it wasn't named after the comedian, actor. Actually, it had nothing to do with him. Rather, an engineer named Chris. He ran Tin Pan Alley. He was the inspiration, the guy that ran Tin Pan Alley. Although the boys thought Chris was cool, he was fairly indifferent to most of what the Beasties were working on. So when he freaked out over this instrumental, the trio, they took notice. According to Horowitz, when they were recording the track, Chris ran into the room yelling, "This shit rocks." So afterward, they dubbed it Chris Rock. However, the song, it sat on the shelf for something like a year. That's what Horowitz said. For a while, they considered releasing it just as an instrumental. But then they tried to make it a rap song with scratched-in samples of Queen Latifah saying, "Get live, all right." That didn't work really very well either. When they finally did figure out some lyrics, like so many Beastie Boys songs, they were based off an inside joke. So here's the story. When making Ill Communication, the guys weren't exactly highly productive at that moment, especially when it came to writing lyrics. Apparently at G-Sun Studios, The guys had skate ramps and they had a basketball hoop. People were always stopping by, hanging out to skate or to eat, just messing around. The guys did admit they weren't really focused. They were totally indecisive about what, when, why, and how to complete any of these songs. And their producer, Mario Caldado, he was getting very frustrated by the lack of progress with them. So he started pushing the B-Boys to kick it into high gear and finish the album. He was getting pissed. As Ad Rock described it, he would blow a fuse, get pissed off, and scream that they just needed to finish something, anything, any song. So I guess when their producer got pissed and got in their face, this pushed Horowitz over the edge, and in smart-ass fashion, he turned the tables on Mario Caldado. Finally got to the point where the guys had just one track left to finish. It was Chris Rock. Said Horowitz about it, "I decided it would be funny to write a song about how Mario was holding us all down, how he was trying to mess it all up." Sabotaging are great works of art. So one night I went to Mario's house and he recorded me screaming words into a microphone over that track, all about some mysterious thorn in my side. So the inside joke of Sabotage, it's all about the band's producer. When Ad Rock yells, "I can't stand it, I know you planned it," I'm gonna set it straight, this Watergate. He's actually calling out Mario Caldado Jr. for being a nuisance. I mean, it's brilliant. Fortunately, the guys finished the album 2 weeks shy of their deadline. It all came together in the nick of time. Good thing that it did, because as cool as Sabotage would have been as an instrumental, there is no denying that adding vocals to this one, it took it to a whole new level. Now the music video for Sabotage, that was directed by longtime B-boy accomplice Spike Jonze. He'd been building up his MTV resume, working with acts like Sonic Youth, The Breeders, and Weezer at that point. The downright ridiculous but awesome video. It was an instant favorite, just a classic, huge hit. Both on the Music Video Network, MTV, who played it relentlessly, and with viewers who couldn't get enough of it. Now the video parodies with hilarious accuracy 1970s cop dramas like Starsky and Hutch, SWAT, and Hawaii Five-0. I mean, everything from the sets to the costumes to the aesthetic of the video itself, it's perfect. I mean, they nailed it. Handlebar mustaches, aviator sunglasses, loud suits and ties, and epic squad car chases. I mean, this music video has it all. There's even a pause for donuts during the song's breakdown. Now, in 2008, Adam Yauch recalled how the video came about. Ad Rock Horowitz, he wanted us to do a photo shoot as undercover cops on a stakeout, sitting in a car surrounded by coffee cups and donut wrappers. We mentioned it to Spike and he said, "Let's do it." From there, the project turned into a full-on cop show opening theme, complete with the title and the credits. The boys each play multiple characters throughout. The video itself was intentionally done on the cheap, enhancing the video's retro vibe. They rounded up the clothing from thrift stores, actually. And then the hair pieces and fake mustaches from a wholesale wig warehouse, actually. As Jones remembers it, they just drove around town stealing locations, getting dressed in parking lots, eating in the van. There were no permits, there were no permissions. They'd just see a spot and they'd say, "Let's grab a shot there." It was all on the fly. The video is widely considered one of the funniest and most iconic of its day and went a long way in securing Sabotage as a Beastie Boys standard. It was actually nominated for 6 MTV Video Music Awards. But in a complete travesty, it didn't win in any of its 5 categories, which included Video of the Year. That one actually went to Aerosmith's Crying. And then when REM's Everybody Hurts won the award for Best Direction, MCA, dressed in character as his alter ego, Nathaniel Hornblower, He stole the podium from Michael Stipe, and he went on a ridiculous tirade about how Spike Jones should have won and how he invented Star Wars. It was the first time a stunt like that had happened in the history of the award show. And of course, much would happen after that. It was kind of baffling, particularly to Stipe, who appeared to have no idea what was going on.
That I had all the ideas for Star Wars and everything.
Now, fortunately, the guys didn't suffer any fallout from it. It was actually kind of funny in hindsight.
I have no idea what that... I think that was Cyndi Lauper, but I'm not sure.
On another note, according to the DVD commentary for the 1996 movie Trainspotting, the Sabotage video is credited for inspiring the film's iconic opening sequence. Very cool.
Choose life, choose a job, choose a career.
Sadly, Sabotage missed out on the Hot 100. A real head scratcher for sure. Showed up in the Billboard Bubbling Under chart at number 15. However, it did reach number 18 on the US Alternative Airplay chart, which still, come on, should have been much higher. Internationally, it reached number 38 in Canada, and it went to number 35 in the Netherlands and number 19 in the UK. For as big as the song has become, it definitely underperformed on the charts. It should have been a top 10 hit easily. Now, that being said, this song has become larger than life as the years have passed. It's definitely a pop culture staple. For example, Sabotage has appeared in a long, long list of movies and TV shows. A sample is My Name is Earl, Horrible Bosses, Misfits, How I Met Your Mother, American Crime Story, Family Guy, Futurama, Lethal Weapon, the series, and the Super Bowl trailer for Minions, The Rise of Gru in 2020. Notably, Sabotage has also been featured in 2 J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, who is a big fan of the band. 2009 Star Trek, a young James T. Kirk takes his stepdad's antique convertible on a joyride through the Iowa countryside, which ends in disaster. 2016 Star Trek Beyond places it front and center as well in both the trailer and the film, where it's referred to as classical music. Not bad. You can also find Sabotage in multiple video games, including Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, Rock Band, Madden NFL 2010. And of course, it's had a share of covers by Fish, Fun, Korn, One Republic, Switchfoot, Sum 41, and sadly, Pauly Shore. Sabotage is so pervasive, it's even infiltrated the mean streets of Sesame Street. Although Sabotage was far from a runaway chart-topping sensation, as it should have been, it holds a fond place in the hearts of so many B-Boy fans because this is the song that sealed the deal for the trio. It authoritatively stated that the group was here to stay and they were kicking ass and taking names. I mean, chart sensation or not, it's a defining track for this band, elevating the Beasties to pop culture icons. And after that, there was no way they were ever going back. Thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about the Beastie Boys and Sabotage. What are your memories of this song? This song just explodes. Let's have a great discussion about what's your favorite part. What else should we cover from the Beasties? Let's also talk about the music video. If you like our content, we invite you to subscribe below. We would love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, records and the truth, my friends.